So the next one was Pessoa. So basically, let's see. I went from the coast inland, and then I went down south a little bit back to the coast. And I was actually called to the across the street from the mission president's home. I don't know if it was the Book of Mormon experience that he was like, I got to keep an eye on this guy. So he had a voice kind of like this, and I hope he's not watching this because, but he had a very like intimidating voice. And so when I was called to live across the street from him, and I'm just kidding, we had a very good relationship. And so I was just happy to be across the street. We got dinner every night at the mission president's home. But it was the most rich area of the entire mission. And that was a whole new challenge because for some reason, when you get money, humans, human nature is when you get money, you don't need other people, and they're not as warm anymore. So Brazil, same culture, but I think this is universal. The rich people are a lot more cold and turned off, and so we would just knock on doors, and people wouldn't even care to answer. They'd use a little intercom, and once they heard we were missionaries, and that doesn't happen that much. When you're in the boondies, in the desert, everybody wants to know who who these two white, or two like missionaries are. And so that was a whole new challenge. We'd actually end up, to have any success, we'd have to walk an hour to a neighborhood that wasn't rich, And so that would take up, an hour to get there, an hour back. But there was always dinner waiting, which was awesome. So if you ever do get called to the mission president's area, that's a benefit. So, but I remember actually something very interesting. There's once because walking an hour, it would pay off, even though it would be harder to get them to church because they would have to walk an hour to church as well. But one day, something really fun, and I thought this would only happen in like ensigns, and I didn't think this would ever happen to me. And it's nothing I did. I didn't do anything. But one day we were walking and we were just trying to find a direction, or a certain house. And so we stopped at this internet house where he went and had a whole bunch of computers. That's where he emailed. But we just stopped there and we asked the guy who was working there. He was probably 15, 16 or so, and we just asked him some direction. He's like, "Yeah, let me show you." And so he just leaves his post, and I'm pretty sure there's somebody else there. But so he leaves his post, and he actually just, instead of telling us how to get there, he walks us straight there. And the whole time we're just talking, and he's super friendly, super nice. And we're like, "Hey, can we come over to your house and, share a message with you?" And he said, "Yeah, for sure," and super nice. So we set it up for like the next day once he's off work, and we get there, we knock on the door, and his mom answers the door. And we're like, "Hey, is Samuel here?" And she just was like, "Do not ever come back to my house," and just closes the door. And we were like, "Oh man, Samuel was so cool. We really liked him, And so anyways, we passed by the internet house, saw him, and he was like, "Yeah, sorry, my mom's just, she's not, she doesn't want you guys to come over." And we have to respect that. If they're under 18, you have to respect that, what the parents want. And so that's that. We stayed friends when we passed and whatnot. But then I came home, and a couple years later, out of the blue, I get a Facebook message from Samuel. And he's like, "Hey, I got baptized a few months ago, and I'm getting ready to go on a mission." I was like, "What?" And so, his mom never actually said that he can go to the church. But the second he turned 18, he knew where to go. He went to church. He stayed friends with the missionaries. And then he went on a mission himself. So that was it's just one of my most favorite stories and memories from my entire mission was, meeting Samuel. I didn't do anything. The Lord just put us in the right place because we were lost and we needed to find a certain place. And, Samuel was just a great guy and just was prepared for it. So you never know what you're going to get even when you just get lost. So, which actually that could be metaphoric, right? But anyways, so